Lucky Strike. First again with Tobacco Men. First again with Tobacco Men.
LSMFT, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Yes, in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
So for your own real deep down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
You gotta smoke that cigarette. Smoke that cigarette. Cigarettes. Whatever happened to the glamour of smoking? A time when cigarettes were endorsed by famous actors, baseball greats, and even doctors. They had the ability to define a person's character. One could be rugged, or elegant, or simply individualistic. But in today's world, cigarette smoking for popular culture has become something quite different. The discovery of the negative health effects of smoking, leading to diseases like lung cancer, has given cigarettes a bad reputation. Often, smokers in popular culture are portrayed as outcasts, rebels, or victims of addictive behavior. Cigarette companies have had extreme restrictions placed on their advertising, but strangely enough, people still smoke. In fact, a lot of people still smoke. An estimated 25.1 million men, that's 20.4%, and an estimated 20.9 million women, that's 17.2%, smoke cigarettes in the United States. While statistics may be fascinating, that's not what this movie is about. This is the story of my personal quest to find out why people smoke cigarettes. I grew up in a world where I was scared to even think about ever smoking a cigarette. Basically, every authority figure explained that cigarettes were deadly, disgusting, and extremely addictive. While some of the things they said may have been true, a lot of it was subjective, opinionated, and exaggerated. As I grew older, I came to the conclusion that cigarette smoking must be dying out because of all the information about its negative health effects, health institutions acting out against cigarette companies, and the banning of smoking in public places in certain cities and states. I held the belief that some people smoke because they started in a time when cigarette smoking wasn't so taboo and got addicted. It wasn't until I arrived at Loyola University, New Orleans, that I realized that I was very wrong. I looked around, and it seemed to me like almost everyone smoked. And what surprised me the most was the fact that these people are my age and had to have had the same teaching about how bad cigarettes are. But they were still smoking. I became perplexed. Why would anyone, fully aware of the dangers of cigarettes, ever even start smoking?
I got my first cigarette from my friend Darshan when I was 15 or 16.
I started dabbling with it in high school, around junior year, around Mardi Gras time. I was with some friends, and one of them actually smoked, and I asked him for one, and I smoked one, and then it just kind of caught on. Whenever we were out, we'd smoke cigarettes.
I started smoking because I worked for a store, and I just took cigarettes. I stole cigarettes, and then I started when I was 16.
I started smoking when I was 18, when I was actually, legal to buy cigarettes. My ex-boyfriend smoked, all his friends smoked. I kind of wanted to fit in with them, so.
I got started smoking freshman year of high school. I was in a death metal band at the time, and the drummer of the band handed me a cigarette and said I needed a vice. So I took a vice and smoked a cigarette, been hooked since.
Well, the first time I smoked a cigarette, it's because a girl was smoking a cigarette, and she was hot. And I was like, well, gee whiz, I smoke cigarettes too, actually. And I picked one up, and I was all like, without inhaling. But the more you do that, the more you learn to inhale. And then 3 years down the road, you're pretty addicted to these things.
Someone gave me a cigarette and it made me feel better.
When I was 16, I started smoking. I used to be a janitor at this office, and they had a lot of smokers there, so I would just steal cigarettes from their desks while I was, cleaning up. So I started smoking there.
Well, I started smoking when I was about 13. I guess it was hanging around my friends. My friends smoked, so because originally I didn't smoke. I used to be against smoking. I actually talk about people that did smoke, but I guess them freshman years in high school, it's kind of one thing led to another, and hanging around people that did it, I'd have to say probably, I got curious. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and see what it's like, and once I tried it out, I've been smoking ever since.
I started smoking when I was about 15, I'm like a casual smoker, so I had my first cigarette when I was 15. My parents went out of town, and my older sister had a packet, so she taught me how to smoke my first cigarette.